Well, we actually have one more thing to share with everyone here. As cool as that cinematic trailer was, we know that you and other Starcraft players around the world have waited a long time for a sequel. And we know you're eager to see the actual game.
사실 여러분들께 보여드릴 것이 한 가지 더 있습니다. 여기 계신 여러분들을 포함해 전 세계의 스타크래프트 게이머들이 스타크래프트의 차기작을 오랫동안 기다려 오셨는데요.
So we prepared a gameplay demonstration to give you all a glimpse of what we have in store. And who better to provide that than the lead designer of the game?
오늘 참석하신 여러분들을 위해 신작 게임 내용을 엿볼 수 있는 게임플레이 데모 영상을 보여드릴 것입니다. 차기작에 대해 여러분에게 가장 잘 설명해드릴 수 있는 수석 디자이너와 함께 게임에 대해 좀 더 알아볼 수 있는 시간을 마련했습니다.
I present Dustin Browder, lead designer for Starcraft 2.
소개합니다. 스타크래프트 2의 수석 디자이너 더스틴 브라우더입니다.
Hello everyone. My name is Dustin Browder. I'm the lead designer for Starcraft 2.
여러분 안녕하십니까? 저는 블리자드 엔터테인먼트의 수석 게임 디자이너 더스틴 브라우더입니다.
You will be the first people in the world to see our demo.
여러분은 바로 세계에서 최초로 스타크래프트 2 데모를 보시게 되는 주인공이십니다. 보시죠.
사령관, 전진기지 배치가 완료되었습니다. 벌써는 테란 녀석들이 계속해서 병력을 보내고 있습니다. 우리가 빨리 처리하자면 적에게 먹이만 주는 꼴이 될 겁니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin today, I'd like to remind everyone this is only a demo. This is work in progress. We've got a lot of balance work ahead of us. Nothing we're going to see today is final. We're going to begin today with a look at these Starcraft Zealots. This is a unit from the original game. They're still armed with their powerful side blades and are still protected by a tough personal body shield. Starcraft 2, the Zealot has a special charge ability. This allows him to close quickly with his enemies. This charge makes the Zealot extremely dangerous against ranged defenders like these Marines. This is a classic Starcraft unit, and it's a classic Terran defensive position. You can see they're using that high ground against us. They're shelling our Zealots from long range, forcing us to go the long way around. Our Zealots just can't stand up to all of that heavy Terran firepower. In order order to deal with a tough Terran defensive position like this, we're going to need to bring in a new Protoss weapon of war. After the destruction of Iron and the events of the Brood War, the Protoss have been forced to adapt, and they've created these. These are the Immortals. The Immortals have a special, hardened shield that only activates when struck by a very powerful enemy attack. And you can see these hardened shields are activated now. They're only taking a small amount of damage from those Terran siege tanks. This makes the Immortal the perfect choice for assaulting this type of Terran defended position. Terrans are sending their Reapers against us. This infantry unit is armed with 2 pistols and uses a jump pack to avoid certain types of terrain. Their pistols are too small to activate the hardened shield of the Immortal. This makes the Reaper the perfect choice for hunting down and destroying these tough Protoss troops. That's the kind of fast, bloody way that Reapers really excel at, hunting down slow-moving units on the battlefield. In addition, the Reapers can use their jump packs to be very effective base raiders. And once inside a Protoss base, the Reapers will usually go for our pylons. With our pylon down, we're vulnerable to continued enemy attack. Fortunately, we have some new weapons to deal with this new threat. The Protoss can use their phased prisms to create a power field anywhere they wish. And you can see, with our photon cannons back online, the Reapers have no choice but to run for cover. In addition to a number of new units, the Protoss also have some new mechanics. And one of these is warfare. This allows the Protoss to create units anywhere they wish within pylon power. And you can see here, we're creating some Stalkers. This is a new type of Dark Dragoon. It's a fast unit armed with a powerful cannon. The Stalker also has a special blink ability that allows him to teleport anywhere that he can see. This allows the Stalker to avoid certain types of obstacles. It also makes the Stalker very effective at chasing down slow-moving units on the battlefield.
적은 병력이 포착됐으니 여러 곳에서 점점 거리를 좁혀오고 있습니다.
Zerg have arrived sooner than expected. They're using their Nidus swarms to create a beachhead, and they're sending Zerglings against us. Notice how we're using our Stalkers to blink away from these Zerglings. This is an example of how very skilled players will use the Stalker's blink to great advantage. Unfortunately, there are simply too many Zerglings, and our Stalkers are quickly overcome. To deal with a Zerg infestation of this magnitude, we'll need to bring in some additional reinforcements. Now we've shown you how you can use phase prisms to create a power field anywhere you wish, and we've shown you warping. You can use these two mechanics together to create an army anywhere on the battlefield.
We are the blades of fire.
Starcraft is still a game where large armies battle against large armies. Now our upgraded zealots can hold the line here for a short time, but they can't last forever against this many Zerglings. In order to survive this attack, we'll need to bring in some additional firepower. And these are the Colossus. The Colossus uses his long legs to step down cliffs. And he has a special beam that sweeps back and forth across the battlefield. This makes the Colossus a powerful weapon against small, swarming units like these Zerglings. Continue to evolve. You notice these Zerglings are mutating into banelings. These small suicidal creatures are filled with powerful explosives and acidic chemicals. The Zealots have no defense, and even the mighty Colossus is forced to run in an attempt to survive. Colossus is using our new IK system to step up and down this cliff. This is just one example of the types of technologies we're adding to Starcraft 2 to make the game look more dynamic. While our Colossus is very dangerous against ground forces, it's much more vulnerable to an aerial counterattack. These Mutalisks will quickly destroy our Colossus and go on to attack our base. We'll need to bring in our new air superiority fighter. This is the Phoenix. The Phoenix has a special overload ability that he can use to attack all nearby enemy flyers. Unfortunately, once he overloads, the Phoenix shuts down for a short time. He can't move, he can't fight, and he's very vulnerable to counterattack. In the hands of a skilled player, the Phoenix can be extremely deadly. If you overload at the right time against the right enemies, you may find there's no one left alive to take advantage of your temporary weakness.
Time for battle. Understood.
We've been doing a lot of work on our environments here in StarCraft 2. This is our space platform environment. You can see we've got some lovely texture work. We've got our deep sky there in the background with the planet in the distance. We've got some asteroids floating there in space. This is just one example of the types of environments we will be creating for StarCraft 2.
For honor of the wings of justice.
While the Phoenix is very dangerous against small flyers, it's much more vulnerable to heavily armed and armored targets like these battlecruisers. The Phoenix simply doesn't have the firepower to break through that thick Terran armor. In order to deal with a battlecruiser squadron of this size, we'll need to bring in a new weapon of war. This is the Warp Ray. The Warp Ray does additional damage the longer it fires at a single target. This makes the Warp Ray very dangerous against tough armored targets like these battlecruisers. Dangerous against battlecruisers, also makes it very effective against enemy structures. You can see this barracks is taking tons of damage from these warp rays. that is going to try to lift off to escape, but it just can't get away in time. Very vulnerable to small units like these Marines. They simply waste too much of their damage on single targets, and they're quickly destroyed. You'll also notice that as these warp rays die, the debris falls to the ground and rolls down that ramp. This is an example of our physics system in action. It's just another example of the types of technologies we're adding to Starcraft 2. Now, with our warp rays destroyed, the Terrans are going to fortify their position here. Before we finish the demo today, there's one last unit we'd like to show you.
이제 적들은 프로토스의 진정한 힘을 느끼게 될 것입니다.
Justify the expense. The first of these is the time bomb. This special ability creates a time distortion field. It slows down all enemy movement inside. Notice the missiles are actually stopping inside the time field and are not able to strike the mothership. Field ends, the missiles fall harmlessly to the ground. In addition to her time bomb ability, the mothership also has a special attack that she can employ against ground targets. This is the Planet Cracker. Ordinarily, you have to expose your mothership to significant enemy fire to use this weapon, but these Marines simply don't have the firepower to cut through that thick Protoss shield. Since you're only allowed a single mothership, you can expect the enemy to throw everything they've got at your mothership in an attempt to destroy it. Now in a real game, this mothership would be out of shields and out of energy, but this is our demo. So we're going to give this mothership some additional energy so she can use her last special ability. The mothership can create a powerful black hole anywhere she wishes. This is very dangerous against enemy flyers.
전투가 시작되었습니다. 이제 전력을 기울여야 할 때입니다. 엔타로 태산아, 사용은 아이오의 빛이 함께할 것입니다.
We've shown you some classic units with some new abilities. There's a great many new Protoss weapons of war. We'd like to finish today by showing you a battle between the Protoss and the Terrans. This is the first time anyone outside of Blizzard Entertainment has had the chance to see these